Hello, welcome and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be going over our plans for the English and Language Arts for the 2025 and 2026 school year. My daughter is going into the 4th grade, so this will include possibly things from different levels, maybe different grade levels, but we're going to try to go over all of the language arts, which covers a significant amount of topics. So without further ado, let's get started. So the general grammar, punctuation type knowledge, we are going to be using Evan Moor Language Fundamentals. These books are great just to kind of cover basic information that also doesn't take a significant amount of time. I want to make sure that my daughter is getting some of the general English language arts knowledge, but then also including some other fun activities that go beyond just the standard, workbook. So here's information about what's in the table of contents. And it covers, a wide variety of topics in there. Okay? And then the next thing we're going to do is spelling. So for our spelling, we are going to use All About Spelling. We did the new color edition for level 3 this last year. So this year we're going to be doing level 4 in the color edition. And my daughter really loved the color editions. We had used the regular ones, I think, for level 1 and level 2. But once she started using the color version, she was a lot happier with spelling. It made it more engaging. There's fun activities to do. And so we really like this curriculum. We like learning the rules. We like having, the fundamentals of where language came from and why things are spelled the way that they are. And then if you saw my other video, I was trying to figure out what to do for vocabulary. So it will kind of include a few different things, but the main one we're going to be using is the Critical Thinking Company's Word Roots, and we will be on the beginning level. So there are multiple levels of this program. So if anybody is at higher grade levels, they have these for things beyond the 3rd, 4th grade level. So we may be continuing this because I like this. It's similar to kind of like All About Spelling. It gives you basic information that you can use, across multiple words. So we really like that. And then in addition to that, my daughter really wanted to use word ladder. So she was looking through the different curriculum options and she just thought this one might be fun to do. So this will not be required, but if she has extra time throughout the day, she's going to have kind of an option of work to do that's her own choices after she gets done with the key criteria for that day. So this will be on that list of something that she can pull from. And then the other thing we like to do to kind of go beyond, again, just those basic workbooks, is to use moving beyond the page. So we used this last year we've done the science, we've done some social studies units, and then novel studies in the language arts program. And it covers a lot of things that you would have maybe in some of these workbooks, but in a more fun manner. And there's projects to do, and there's different writing activities, and it's a really engaging program. And so we like to use that for those different subjects, but it's a lot in each one of the books. So we don't always do what's written in there. I usually review them ahead of time, kind of highlight the key ones that I want her to do, and then she can have options to finish some of the other ones if they don't take very long to accomplish. And she has, the thought to want to try to get those ones done. So the novel studies that we will be doing for this year include The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And then we have the others in this. So if she wants to read those after we finish this one, she has that available to her. And then the second book that we'll probably read closer to the second half of the year is Holes. And then we'll probably watch the movie after we read both of those books as well. And then two Other additional ones that we will get to if we end up having time for them is Charlotte in Giverney, I'm not quite sure how to say that, and then Pedro's journal. And then kind of along with this, where I was going to try to bring this in was when we were going to do our art unit, which I'll bring up in a future video for additional units that we're going to be doing. For writing, we have a couple of things that we'll be using. The main curriculum that we will be using, and this is the first time we're using this, is Essentials in Writing. The focus for this year will be on really good paragraphs. So we've worked through trying to write really good sentences last year, getting really thorough, getting variety of sentence lengths, sentence structures, and then now we're going to move on to paragraphs. And so the reason that I picked level 3 is it covers different types of paragraphs that you would write, and then the reasoning behind why you would write those. So that's the main reason that I chose this specific level. So that's going to be her main writing for this year. And then in addition to that, we really like Lithouse learning. We did a couple of book studies, novel studies last year, and we also utilized Lithouse learning for medieval history time period. And so we're going to follow up with our last level 1. So like I mentioned, last year we focused on sentences. So the level 1 for Lithouse learning focuses on sentences. And then level 2 starts getting into outlining and paragraphs and how to write, good topic sentences, closing sentences, and then the details within. So after this one will probably be towards the beginning of the year. And then I'm probably going to let my daughter pick out a different novel study for the second half of the year that will move on to level 2. So to kind of show you what's covered, here's the table of contents. So that helps you with, combining sentences, expanding the sentence, making sure that you understand what a fragment is or a complete sentence and what that requires. So we focused heavily on this last year. So this will be our last one in this level 1, very beginning of the school year. And then here's just an example of an activity for combining the sentences. And then here's how to create a summary sentence for whatever it is that you're reading, and how to utilize all these questions to expand on your information to create one sentence at the end. And then lastly, for curriculum, we have this Evan Moor literature pockets for nonfiction. We won't be going through all of these, but one of the things we might be working on this year is poetry. So I might pull this in and just do a couple of projects from this year for my daughter, because she likes things that she can cut out, hands-on, color, work through in a little more detail than just going through a straight workbook. So I usually like to balance both to get some of that basic knowledge that's needed and make sure it's getting covered, and then also have some fun activities to expand on. And so that is the curriculum we are going through this upcoming 2025-2026 school year for 4th grade. In addition to this, we will be having her read her own, so have some readers for her that she's going to work through, both nonfiction and fiction. And then we'll also do read alouds. So we love read alouds. We still do them. In fact, we usually have a couple of them going at a time. Can include both audiobooks as well as read alouds. And then my daughter will be having specific books assigned to her that she's going to be reading. And then also she can have some that she can pull from. So if I say, hey, what's going to be your next reader? You can pull from this pile. She'll be given that as well. So I can probably share some of the options that we're looking at for this upcoming year in a future video. So if you want to learn more about that or have any questions, leave a comment below. And then please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.